Before we start the video, I just want to say that yes, my nose is red. I'm not sure why. It might be acne. I'm extremely self-conscious, so if you could see no comments talking about it, that would be great. Things like Rudolph or, you know, looking like Cindy Lou Who out here. That would be great. So anyways, 2023 has had some of the most terrible releases I've ever experienced, considering I was handed an NES controller at the spry age of 3 minutes old. If you don't know what those releases are, well, here they are. Redfall, Golem, Forspoken, Dookie Dash, an NFT game. Like, what is that? Just so we're clear, this is not a butthole, okay? Thank you. And I did 2 videos on these games, so, you know, check those out. But even with the atrocious games that have come out this year, along with their DLC apologies, there have still been incredible products that the industry has pumped out this year. Bramble the Mountain King, BattleBit Remastered, Outlast Trials, Halls of Torment, Demonologist, Dredge, Resident Evil 4, and the list really does go on. Because of this, 2023 will go down as one of the greatest years for gaming, especially in the indie game section. Now, I feel in recent years, indie games have been more inside the mainstream media, especially with all the resources that keep popping up to find those hidden gems. So I was doing my usual look blankly at the Steam store, and something magical caught my attention. And no, it wasn't another porn game. The game was My Friendly Neighborhood by John Szymanski and Evan Szymanski. It recently released, and my squirrel brain thought, I'm terrified of puppets and dolls, but I'm a man now. So I threw my money at it, and my journey began, not knowing this would be one of the best games that I had played in 2023.
Raise the curtain, bring up the lights, the neighborhood is coming to town.
Okay, last job of the day. What's this one about?
Now, our journey starts with the introduction of the grumpy cat himself, Gordon O'Brien, a maintenance repairman on his last leg, and needs to be on his best behavior for his boss. Man, stupid piece of shit. The reason you're here is to see about a broadcast that's being sent out from this abandoned studio, and ultimately reach the antenna at the top of the roof to disconnect the transmission that's going out. Bada bing, bada boom, go home and crack a cold one with the boys. But unfortunately, the only way up is through the elevator, and that's sealed by this grimace shake-looking substance. I guess they didn't really think about stairs.
Is this cum?
So for the rest of the game, you're navigating parts of the studio. These areas are comprised of Stage 4, the sewers, the offices, the playground, the aviary, and the house, which you cannot look at. While traversing, you're essentially on work hours, and that means no funny business. So you find a wrench, a card-shooting Rolodex, later a shotgun, and lastly, you might find a massive minigun. Don't worry, he's been in the war, so it's okay. But who's stopping you? Well, this game has a colorful cast of puppets who want to spread joy, crazed happiness, and really just don't want you to leave. See, this is where I really wish that they added, like, a Spider-Man type of puppet. I know that there's, like, you know, licenses and whatever, but it would have been so worth it to just see this random, like, Tobey Maguire-looking man at the end of the hallway who's just running up to you, spewing things from, like, Spider-Man 3.
You want forgiveness? Look, little goblin, you get religion. I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
I can't see! There are cars there, motherfucker!
The regular puppets are the least of your worries, as there are 7 bosses throughout the game. Some of them you help along the way to expand the story, as well as help your character, Gordon, become a friendly neighbor. While others, you just shoot them, because there's really no curing that face. And by the end of this roller coaster and you shooting every single puppet that opens his big fat mouth that just keeps talking and laughing and talking and monologuing and laughing and talking and laughing and talking and monologuing and talking and laughing. And oh my god, they won't stop. The voices! The voices! You're met with a simple request from Ricky, which will determine the fate of your life and the puppets' lives. Forever. It sounds pretty dramatic, but that's kind of how it is.
You're a handyman extraordinaire!
Aside from the story, the gameplay is incredibly fun. Bashing away these comedic characters, having to decide on conserving ammunition, as well as a duct tape mechanic, meaning you take out one of the puppets, tape them up, then when you find yourself in that area again, you won't have to waste your time with them, except for hearing a story or two about how to count 10 or what toothpaste they used. And speaking of backtracking, this game has a lot of that due to the nature of the puzzles presented, which I can't remember a game this dense in a while. Stage 4 is the first area you push through, and I was finding myself back there 4 hours later because I collected a key for one of the doors, which inevitably let me finish the puzzle I was working on that late in the game. I don't like comparing games to each other, like, oh, it's another Vampire Survivors or another Metroidvania, but this genuinely felt like I was playing Resident Evil 4 again, which is by far my favorite game that I played this year.
Mission accomplished, right?
And that shows just how great this game truly is.
Stupid puppet.
Not only does detailed gameplay, amazing level design, an immense amount of puzzles that give you that sense of accomplishment within the game, but it has a ton of replayability. As you play through the first time, you'll find secret tapes which lead to cheats or game modes in the levels, as well as your decisions throughout the game. Well, what the fuck does that do? Well, I'll show you, happy viewer. This means that in another playthrough, maybe you want unlimited ammo and the enemies to have big heads. Boom, you can do that. Long arms to open those doors so you don't have to walk all the way there. Boom, you can do that. You feel like speedrunning the game? Boom, you can do that. Clip through the entire map and go outside the game's fucking walls. Boom, 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 you can do that. Shit. I finished this game at least 10 times, and because of this, I threw on as many cheeses as I could and just let it rip.
Let it rip.
Here's a comparison of the gameplay when cheats are on versus off. During this point of the game, Norman splits into 10 puppets, and you have to figure out a way on how to stop him or get around him.
We're all friendly here. Friendly.
This was a glitch that they found during the testing of the game, and because of this, it became a feature within the game. So yeah, I do my research sometimes. The point I'm trying to make is you can make the game as simple or chaotic or easy or difficult as you really want to. The possibilities are essentially endless because of what these developers have done. I don't commend them for making the unfriendly mode because that is literally the spawn of Satan and probably the hardest difficulty that I've ever done on any game. Any difficulty ever played, ever. Hardest, you get nothing. You get nothing. And you just have to deal with it. And for that, I say my friendly neighborhood gets a big fat 0. Hey. No, but we'll add a 1 before the 0, and it's like a 10. It's a 10. This was such a good game, really good game, and I enjoyed all the time that I had spent on it, and I really do appreciate the time and the passion that was put into a game like this. So with that, you get a 2 thumbs up. Yeah. The game really doesn't take itself seriously, which is refreshing, but the overall message is clear, which, to be honest, I felt for a while, especially after COVID, is that a lot of people became jaded, irritable, selfish, and in general, a big fat meanie.
The unfriendly neighborhood.
This game says, now stop that and be a little nicer to you, your family, your friends, and anyone you come in contact with, and man, does that feel good.
You can't just clam up and start hitting everything with a wrench. That won't fix anything.
Honestly, this game was incredibly well made, and normally I don't do giveaways, but since it was that great, I'll give a random viewer My Friendly Neighborhood on Steam. And all you have to do is comment something friendly or nice in the comments. It's like the easiest entry ever. It can be anything, and I'll pick someone at random. So look out for that, and thank you for watching. I'm gonna go eat 3 candy bars and then run a marathon, so I'll see you on the next one.